Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice but get on. Mandate to get it on. Thanks for tuning in. C. Thomas Howell back in studio. One of the good ones. C. Thomas Howell. Just a good dude. Man, life's interesting, you know? I remember seeing you on E.T. and Outsiders and, of course, Red Dawn, which I've seen. I may have seen Red Dawn 77 times. Over under 77. Never turn it
Wolverines.
off. Never get tired of watching that movie. And here you are. See, Thomas Howell's also doing a thing coming up, which I didn't know about. You get the E.T. cast together. You're doing it this weekend in Los Angeles at the Marriott Burbank Hotel. And that's like Comic-Con for E.T. and movies of that genre.
It's a pop culture thing.
Pop culture thing.
You know, the Comic-Con phenomenon has been great for, especially for actors over the past few years. I mean, when COVID hit, it basically wiped out the business, and then we had 2 years of a strike. And there was a time when people were kind of embarrassed to be attached to Comic-Cons, but now all the greats do them. And you go and you hang out with cast members from old films and see people that you've worked with and basically sign memorabilia or take a photo and put a few bucks in your pocket and get on down the road.
Well, there are no more rules in show business. And there used to be a lot of rules. For instance, you couldn't do TV if you're a serious actor, and now there's tons of serious actors on TV. Also, you couldn't toggle back and forth between TV and features. That wasn't allowed. You couldn't even do The Tonight Show and Letterman in the same 6-month period. You had to choose. If you had a movie coming out, you could either do Letterman or you could do Leno, but you couldn't do Letterman and then the next day do Leno because Leno's people, those were against the rules. But if you wanted to do Leno first, you couldn't do Letterman the next. Like, there were nothing but rules.
Times have changed.
And there is no, by the way, if you were a Kardashian and there was some bootleg porn of you or something, you were ruined. You weren't able to you could make money at a bunny ranch.
Now you have a career.
You're a cosmetic line. I mean, there were so many rules in show business and in life, like as well, and there's just no more rules.
The internet changed it all.
I guess the internet did that, right?
Yeah.
And it's nice because I don't think people realize that actors, comedians...
I mean, it's nice to some degree. Now every idiot has a voice.
Well, that's true, but the cream is still going to rise to the top. But
yes.
I'm just saying...
We hope.
Acting... I've experienced this myself because I was really just talking to Dr. Drew about this earlier, and I said, the real key to this business is sort of longevity. It's not really getting hot, getting lucky, like who you know, like whatever that is, being the it boy or the it girl. It's like hanging out for 40 years and making a living. That's the tricky part.
100%. And it's not easy. I mean, a lot of child actors, I started when I was very young. First thing I did was a show with Brian Keith when I was 6 years old called Little People. My father, a renowned stuntman his entire life, I kind of figured I'd fall into the stunt world. And that's how I got my first role in a major motion picture, which was E.T., because I could ride the bikes and do some of the stunts in that.
Oh, right. Yeah. Brian Keith, by the way, famous from Family Affair and then Hardcastle and McCormick.
Wow. Yeah.
I missed, you guys, you missed out on all the 80s sort of action buddy sitcom-y stuff where it's like this guy's a hard-nosed judge and this crazy felon race car driver has to live with him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, for some reason, they would force you to live with the person that was the opposite of you. And then you get Hardcastle and McCormick, and this guy's just driving around this, basically a dune buggy that he called the Coyote, which is not really a race car. It didn't really fit in any category or anything, but it was like a supercar that he drove around. And then Brian Keith killed himself at some point.
He did. I think might have been cancer-driven.
I think usually when you hear about someone killing themselves after the age of 75, it's like terminal something.
Yeah.
But what was Little People?
So he played a pediatrician in Hawaii, and my mother was running the transportation for the show at the time, and I went over to visit, and I was hanging out on the set, and the director came up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to, play a part of a young kid who has an earache?" And I think it was Shelley Fabre.
Shelley Fabre.
Who co-starred in it. And that was my first time on a set.
And this is
like
late
72.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We got the beginning for Hardcastle McCormick, by the way, if you don't remember. And he had to have a good guitar lick. And he had lots of shots of tachometers and speedometers, like gauges going up, man,
Sure.
running to the red. All right, sorry, here it is. Now, the conceit is that he has a fiberglass kit car, but I don't know how that gets him, how he solves crime with a kit car.
Is he driving on the right-hand side? That looked like it was.
Yeah, it could be from England.
Yeah. Apparently, Keith wasn't the happiest fellow to be around.
He didn't ever seem like he was in a good mood, because I used to watch him on Family Affair, and he looked hungover constantly.
Yeah.
All right, so Family Affair would be like this. These poor kids were traumatized because both their parents died in a car accident. Buffy and Jody.
So who was he, the grandfather?
He was Uncle Bill.
Oh, he was Uncle Bill.
And they dropped off their two kids who would have night terrors for the next 20 years if both your parents died when you were 4 and 5 or whatever.
Thank God for Mr. French.
They dropped them off. Now, the conceit was this guy was a confirmed bachelor, Uncle Bill. He was a highly sought-after architect and lived in a Manhattan high-rise, and he lived in, like, the penthouse. He had his personal butler, Mr. French.
Sure.
I don't know why a single dude needs a live-in butler, but he had him.
Wouldn't it be nice?
It would be nice.
Yeah.
And Uncle Bill really didn't like Buffy or Jody.
No.
And so what would happen is he'd just stand there, and then Jody would go, "Mrs. Beasley's got a new friend. Can we have a tea time with their new friend and sit down and drink some tea?" And he'd just go, he'd rub his temples and just go, "French!" He'd yell French, and then he'd have to come in and
I
mop
just
up.
remember one episode where they punished the little girl for leaving the toy out, and they locked up Mrs. Beasley in the closet, and it traumatized me.
I'll tell you something. I've never felt so old as the other day. I turned on the TV and they had one of these commercials it's a phone service for elderly people where it transcribes what your grandkid is saying onto a screen, and it's like free for people over 70 or whatever. And the woman who was playing the elderly wife in the commercial was Buffy, Sissy.
Wow.
The teenage daughter from Family Affair.
Wow.
So I used to watch her when she was 16
So she's still
on
around?
TV. She's still around, and she's playing the happy wife of the dude who needs the phone that transcribes everything on a
Wait
screen.
a second. Did you recognize her?
I did. I looked at her, and I was like, last time I saw her, she was 16, and now she's 71. Kathy Garver.
That brain of yours.
Is her name? I don't know. I just kept looking at her going, is that Sissy?
How do you sleep at night?
I used to use earplugs and an eye shade and a noisemaker. Otherwise, I sit
brain
around.
of yours.
I sit around thinking about Sissy and Buffy and Jody. And then Buffy OD'd on drugs when she was like 16. And then some punk rock band wrote a horrible song about her ODing.
What happened to the kid, the boy?
He went on to do Disney films like Escape from
that's
Witch
right.
Mountain and those kind of Johnny Whitaker. And he went on to do Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
That was him.
That's him.
Love Sigmund and the Sea Monster.
That's Johnny Whitaker. You guys should have partied together back in the day or something.
I think he had me by a few years.
He may have had you by a couple.
Yeah.
All right, here's a commercial.
Grandma, I played baseball today.
Oh, that's great.
How the hell did you recognize her?
I have weird little indicators. I was just something. I was like, is that Sissy?
It made us feel isolated.
All right. Now show me a picture of Sissy circa 1967 from Family Affair. And I was just sitting in front of my TV going, wait a minute, that's Sissy.
That's shocking.
That's Sissy.
Did you hear it in the voice?
It's weird being a human being. There's mannerisms that make you human. Like little, just sort of the way.
Sometimes I can recognize somebody because of their voice. But that I would never have put together.
I had a weird thing once. I was in Miami for a Super Bowl, and it was me and Kimmel were walking down the street. There's Sissy, bottom left. There's Mr. French, Buffy, Jody, Mrs. Beasley, not seen in this picture, and happier days for Brian Keith.
I think this show only ran for 3 years. Seems like a lifetime.
I was walking. I had this weird realization where I was in Miami. I was with Jimmy, and we're walking down the street at night in Miami. And I was wearing a baseball hat, and I'd let my beard go, 3 or 4 days. I was kind of scruffy with a baseball hat on. I was walking down the street, and some guy drove past me, like honked the horn. Like, yeah, I'm Loveland, yeah. And I was like, okay, that guy's never seen me with a baseball hat on because he's talking MTV Loveline. I don't wear a baseball hat, and I'm shaved, and I'm sitting down. But he knew, as like a human, but almost like an animal, like sort of the way I stood or walked. He didn't hear me, but how did he know? You know what I mean? And that's sort of the thing about humans.
I have some moments like that sometimes.
There are those moments, right?
Thick gray beard and almost 60, and somebody comes up and says "Stay Gold," and I'm like, how the hell? How the hell?
So you grew up in the San Fernando Valley, right?
Yeah.
And your dad was a stuntman, which is a very San Fernando Valley kind of back in the day job. And you grew up, you had some space, some horses and stuff like that, right?
Dirt bikes,
horses, a little land.
We got dirty, man.
You were in the West Valley, right?
Yeah, I was raised out in Agora.
That's far out back in the day.
And then we kind of moved on out to Valencia before it became Santa Clarita.
Yeah, so the way the valley worked is it started with the city, with Hollywood and whatever, and then it spilled over the canyon, and you got Toluca Lake and North Hollywood, and Bob Hope buying a bunch of acreage in Toluca Lake and a golf course and stuff like that. But it eventually kept spreading and drifting out till you got to the Santa Clarita.
Well, if you wanted more property, you kept going either north or west.
Right. So Agora was considered pretty far out there, and also I had to look at it through the lens of a family that didn't have cars that could make it that far without overheating and shit like that. So
you were raised in the valley.
I raised in North Hollywood.
Right.
But getting
so
out,
that must have seemed far.
Getting out to Agora would have been a trek.
Yeah.
And like I said, you get into a car now, and it's got, it's a Tesla, and it's self-driving. It's got climate control and shit
now
like that.
Now it feels like nothing.
It feels like nothing. Then it was like the thing starts shimming at 55. Sure. You got retreads on the tires. It's overheating. You got to bring an extra bucket of water.
My old man would throw us in the back of an old Chevy pickup, and he'd have an Olympia in one hand and a Marlboro in the other. And if you weren't in the back of the truck when you got there, too bad.
So what kind of films did your dad do stunt work on?
Gosh, Planet of the Apes.
Oh, wow.
Poseidon Adventure.
Wow.
He was a stunt coordinator on Urban Cowboy.
Wow.
Back in the day. And here's a little fun fact, right? So I was 11 years old when he did Urban Cowboy in Houston. He brought me down to hang out with him for the summer. And there was a beautiful lady who was the dance choreographer named Patsy Swayze. And Patrick was working on the film full-time, and he and I would hang out basically for the entire summer. He took care of me. And this was 3 years before we ever did a film together, and we went on to do 3 pictures together.
You got Red Dawn. You got Rumble. Is Rumble fit? No. Outsiders. And what's the third? Grandview
USA. Jamie Lee Curtis.
So Swayze, who has that dance background and has the wife who was an instructor and his mom I think, or maybe I've done it.
His mom is amazing.
Is this his mom who's working on the film?
The mother, Patsy's an incredible choreographer. In fact, I literally just watched Dirty Dancing for the first time a week ago.
For the first time?
For the first time.
So, and Red Dawn, you guys filmed in New Mexico, Colorado? Where the hell was that?
So we shot that in New Mexico. Here's another Swayze story for you. So on the in the original script, there was a love scene written between Jed, Patrick Swayze's character, and Tony, Jennifer Grey's character. And it was like a 5-6 page solid character developing scene for Jennifer Grey. And as we got into filming, Swayze started leaning away from it and saying, this doesn't make any sense to me. We're running for our lives. We're starving. We're killing people. And now all of a sudden I'm going to duck over here behind this yucca tree and make love to Jennifer Grey.
Right.
And he started campaigning to cut the scene. Well, she was fighting to do it. That was one of the reasons why she wanted to do the movie. It was a major scene for her. Well, he ended up winning. The scene was cut, and we had about 3 weeks of shooting left, and she basically turned against him. And they didn't speak for 3 weeks. And in fact, when we were doing press, she didn't want to do press with him, and she didn't really want to be a part of the Patrick Swayze bandwagon at all. Could you imagine? She was cast first in Dirty Dancing. Her father was the incredible Joel Grey, which, an incredible dancer. She was cast first, and they spent weeks and weeks and weeks searching for Johnny Castle, the Patrick Swayze character. Could you imagine the look on her face when she got the call from the producers? We found your boy and your great friends. It's Patrick Swayze.
Wow.
And that's just a testament to Patrick because, he took lemons and made lemonade. I watched that film. My wife was shocked I had never seen it, so she put it on. And, for an 80s movie, it's a damn good movie. And Swayze was fantastic in it. And that's really what kind of catapulted him into stardom. I think that picture really broke it for him.
Well, I mean, you were there with young Tom Cruise and Swayze and... who else?
Rob Lowe. Matt Dillon and Ralph and Emilio.
Oh, yeah, Macho. And
Leif Garrett.
Leif Garrett was a Soch.
Leif Garrett was a Soch.
He was a Soch.
Do you know Leif Garrett in the same year, I think it was in 78, packed the Astrodome twice in the same year. Over 60,000 butts in seats, man. That guy was a big star back in the day.
Leif Garrett had a kind of tragic trajectory.
Yeah.
Leif Garrett. Now, it was a time, maybe I'm wrong, but Leif sort of made, half his career was based on having the right hair at the right time.
Well, listen, back in the mid-'70s, the guy was one of the most beautiful kids on the planet. I mean, he was hanging out with Brooke Shields.
Yeah. So
back when that mattered.
Leif Garrett was a Tiger Beat, pinup boy. Kind of back in that time when it's like, I don't know if you could sing or play an instrument or not. It didn't really much matter. You could pack the Astrodome for 2 nights because you're that big. And they couldn't even hear you sing because they were just screaming the whole time.
Sure.
But Leif was the pinup boy, and he had a song, Dawson.
I Was Made for Dancing.
I Was Made for Dancing.
Yes.
Was a song. But again, I don't know if he wrote it or he played any instruments or anything. He was just kind of good-looking front man.
But it was a gold record. I mean, that's, And here's the thing, right? I think Leif came into the cast of The Outsiders late because of that. And Leif loved him some Leif, He was, not afraid to walk around with his own boombox playing his own music, and it really created some healthy resentment between the Gracers and the Soches. So it was genius casting.
No, you know what's weird? I worked on the movie Judgment Night. Emilio Estevez was in that.
Wow.
By the way, Dennis Leary and a few guys like that, right? And I wasn't an actor. I was a stand-in. But we had the good guys and the greasers and the Soches. There's always the good guys and there's the bad guys.
Sure.
And there was like 5 bad guys and 5 good guys in Judgment Night. They didn't like each other at all. They created this tension between them. They wouldn't sit together at meals, you know. Right. There was some real shit going on, and they literally created what they were trying to do on screen, off screen, on the set, which is an interesting kind of human condition, right?
Which I don't think you could really do today because you'd get a phone call from HR.
Right.
But back then, you know, when we were brought in a month early to begin rehearsing The Outsiders, and every weekend there would be extremely competitive events set up, whether it was, you know, basketball games, bowling nights, football at the park. And it would be the Greasers against the Socias. And you know, by the time we started filming, it did two things. It really bonded the cast.
Right.
And it really set us apart from, you know, there was a real us against them kind of a vibe.
Do you think Francis Ford Coppola was doing that on purpose?
Oh, he was the greatest psychologist ever.
Oh, interesting.
He approached it and you know, pulled the strings and manipulated all of us so geniusly. And you know, we kind of needed that. And the first thing to go, mind you, in today's budgets and filmmaking is rehearsal time. Nobody brings you in to rehearse anymore. But to spend a month together, we shot the entire film on videotape. First, he cut it together, screened it for us. And, you know, we had, it was all in good fun. Like, we didn't really dislike each other, the Socias and the Greasers.
Give me the Greasers and the Socias again. Rob, well,
so
I mean,
Socias,
Leif Garrett was
Leif Garrett,
now, these
Darren
are
Dalton.
the preppies. These are
right.
preppies versus punks.
Exactly right. So Leif Garrett, Darren Dalton, Diane Lane.
Oh, Diane Lane.
The amazing
That's right.
Diane Lane.
Yes.
And then there were a bunch of locally cast
side Socias,
football players. And then, you know, the main cast of Patrick, Matt Dillon, Ralph, Emilio, Tom Cruise, myself, and a couple of other smaller guys that would you know, pranks were a big part of the set.
Where'd you guys film?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
The thing about Leif Garrett, because I watched it behind the music, he was riding high, literally, he was driving a Porsche, pretty blitzed, had his best friend in the passenger seat and went off the Ventura Freeway and down the embankment. And his friend in the passenger seat got paralyzed.
Terrible.
And is still paralyzed, I think, to this day. And was in the hospital, and he essentially sued Leif Garrett for putting him in this condition.
And, you know, Leif has had a tough go. You know, addiction.
Yes. Well, he lost his hair, which is the crazy thing, because...
But I will say this, a heart of gold. I mean, the guy, I saw him a few months back.
You did? Where'd you see him?
And literally a heart of gold. I brought him up to Fresno, where we had a screening of The Outsiders for the Stay Gold Foundation, which is a foundation I started with my wife. That helps us raise money to send books around the country, the world. And he came up and was a part of the event with us. And I have to say, you know, just humble and kind and, you know, has been through hell.
Is he clean now, do you think?
I'm going to venture to say, as a betting man, I would bet no.
Is he working? Is he?
I know he just had a gig at the Whiskey.
Oh, really? So he's playing.
And apparently it was his last gig. You know, he's in his mid-60s, man. And it gets tougher.
So the thing that's interesting, I find, so in the 70s, the hair was a big part of your world. Now, everyone listening now, I've said it a million times, it's never a better time for you and your hair, because you wear your hair however you want to wear your hair. You want a ponytail, you want a man bun, you want to go clean shaven, bald. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have one haircut. You can do whatever you want. You had to have...
But you have to have filler.
Good hair.
No.
And he had... Leif Garrett was all about the hair. And then he started losing his hair, and now you got a problem because you made your bones on your hair, and your hair's falling out when you're 28 years old. and you made your bones on your hair, so he had to start wearing bandanas everywhere. But you know who the other guy who made his bones on his hair, not all his bones, but the other guy was hair-centric? Andre Agassi.
Yes.
Did
he lose his hair?
He lost his hair at a young age, too. I got to talk to my son.
He had that
don't
mullet.
rely on that hair.
He had that mullet.
It'll go.
Yeah.
Andre Agassi's hair went early. Leif Garrett's hair went early.
And they both had Brooke Shields.
Yeah,
so maybe it's her fault.
Andre Agassi had to wear, you can look it up. Andre Agassi had to wear a hairpiece playing professional tennis.
Oh, could you imagine?
Could you imagine the hassle of having to put your hair on? Not to mention, it's the Phoenix Open in July. You know what
why
I mean?
wouldn't you just go with a bandana at that
You got
point?
glue dripping down the side of your head. I mean, because he lost. Now everyone would just go, look, if you're Michael Jordan and it's starting to thin out a little bit, or you're LeBron James or whatever, you just shave it and no one cares. But this is.
I don't even like hair dye. I mean, I'm good with the gray.
This is 20 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, who cares?
Well, nobody cares now, but they cared. Like Andre Agassi, his hair was going early, and that was his whole thing, was his hair. And Leif's hair, and I don't know who's a more tragic hair character. I think Leif is a little more tragic because Andre could at least play tennis. You know, he had his game.
Yeah. I couldn't see Leif taping on the hair, though.
No, Leif went with the bandana.
Yeah.
And then he did Loveline on MTV.
But I'll tell you something, Leif pulled in some beautiful women in his day, and the ladies loved him, even in the bandana, for a long time.
Oh, he got some use out of the bandana, too.
Yes.
Yeah, I got nothing against Leif. He came on Loveline. Was a little tough to interview, but it was weird.
Was he on time?
I think he was, but we would gang tape, so I can't remember. Right. But Pam Anderson was the one who was always late. But I watched a behind the music thing, and his buddy, who was paralyzed. It was such a weird clip. His buddy was interviewing him. He hadn't seen Leif in 20 years, you know.
God, I couldn't imagine.
And he's like, I just don't get why he doesn't talk to me anymore. Like, he doesn't talk to me anymore. That's the only thing I care about. I don't care about the accent. I don't care about he had the radio. He had the boom box, maybe the one Leif used on set. He said, he gave me this when I was in the hospital. I still have it today, but I can't figure out why we don't talk anymore. And I was screaming at the TV set, because you sued him, asshole. You sued. When you lawyer up and sue somebody, they don't hang out as much. They're a little less conversational.
What are you going to do?
No, he had to sue him. That's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be confused as to why you were not talking.
Understood.
That's
pretty clear.
Yeah, that was clear to me. In 1990, Andre Agassi wore a lion's mane style wig during tennis matches to hide his baldness. So could you imagine wearing a big ass wig in the middle of a tennis match? Like, I'd rather play in cowboy boots than I feel like it would hurt my game less if I put on cowboy boots than put on a giant wig and played. Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing, really.
Yes.
And that I did not know. So I've learned that from you today.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you so much for sitting down with me again.
You have to understand, we're fighting Hamas. We're not fighting Palestinian civilians. We're very close to finishing off the terrorists. We have to complete the job.
Do you think that October 7th gave people a sense of moral authority to express their anti-Semitism?
The Dr. Phil Podcast.
Do you believe there will be a lasting peace in your lifetime?
Available on your favorite podcast app. Subscribe and follow.
Morgan & Morgan. Well, there's a reason why Tom Brady has 7 rings. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Over $20 billion recovered for more than 500,000 clients. That's not a slogan, that's results. One case in Florida, insurance offered $350K. Client walked away with $12 million. They've been doing this for 35 years, fighting for the people. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm for the people, not the powerful. Am I right, Dawson?
If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Adam or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Adam or #law, #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
So Leif had Brooke Shields as well?
Yes. Well,
is this inside Hollywood stuff?
well, I mean, I know that
they dated.
they were pretty tight. I can't give you details, but you know, Leif was one of the first ones. Like, he had his own special, and some of his guests were Bob Hope and Brooke Shields and like major people.
It was also an easier time back then when you just go, who's the best looking single young chick? Like Brooke Shields. All right, I'm the best looking single young dude, Leif Garrett. Well, here we go.
That's right.
Like, let's just date.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Like, I don't feel like
Well,
it
because
really
back
does
then
that
magazines kind of pushed everything, right? I mean, that's all we had. We just had magazines and you know, paparazzi and photos and people writing whatever the hell they wanted was what really kind of drove people's careers back then. And then the occasional television appearance for them. But you know, today it's so different now. So different.
It's so scattered, and also, I don't know that you could have a Leif Garrett anymore because I don't know if you could get enough people together.
Yeah, correct.
To follow. Like, I always say it this way, like if you go out on a beer run in Super Bowl Sunday in L.A. and you go hit the liquor store and you're driving down the street, you just see people walking around in the street and like looking around and stuff. You're like, we're in the middle of the Super Bowl here, people. It's like they don't even know it.
They don't care.
They don't know it and they don't care.
But back in the day, everybody was watching.
Everybody had to watch.
We had 3 channels.
Right. We had to watch Billie Jean King play Bobby Riggs in tennis. Sure. You know, we had stuff. Now, probably the closest they can get to that is like one of these stunt fights on Netflix or something where one of the brothers is going to fight Anthony Joshua or something like that. Like, that's about as close as we get to what that was.
And that's just utter garbage.
I know, but it's as close as we'll get to getting a large group of people in front of a TV set.
It's a crime. It's a crime.
So So you're doing features. I mean, your first feature's E.T.?
Yes, I was 13.
And that's filmed not too far from where you live. Is that Simi Valley or Santa Clara?
Yeah, Northridge.
Oh, that's a new development, though.
That's
back
correct.
There.
Back there in Northridge, Porter Ranch, that sort of area. So my father picks me up at school when I'm 13 and says, we're going to go meet somebody today named Steven Spielberg. And I didn't know who the hell that was. And he says, you have to know how to smoke a cigarette. And he hands me a pack of Marlboros and some matches and says, figure this out on the way to the audition, right? So I walk in, and there's like 5 guys. They all look like John Stamos with perfectly feathered hair and bright blue eyes. And I said, Dad, let's get out of here. I'm not going to get this part. And he goes, just wait. So one by one, they all go in, and finally it's my turn. And I walk in, and there's Spielberg and Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy and the casting people in suits. And I'm sitting in a chair, and he starts asking me some questions, and he's looking at my sort of mocked-up resume, and he's, notices my father's a stuntman and asks if I can ride the bike and hands me a page of dialogue, and we read that together. And he goes, that's pretty good, kid. And he goes, how do you feel about smoking a cigarette? And I fish out my pack of Marlboros and stick a bent cigarette in my mouth and go to strike a match. He says, all right, kid, you got the part.
Oh, wow.
And I was in E.T.
Did you have any idea the scope, scale? I mean, you could never really know how big something was going to be while you were doing it.
The interesting part about it was the security was off the charts. To this day, I've never seen or read an entire script. My pages would be handed to me the day before.
Oh, so they were very careful back then.
Security badges for everybody, all the, the moms, the dads, the crew members, everybody had to, go through strict security process before you were allowed onto a set. So I had never experienced anything like that clearly before, but 40 years of being in the business, I haven't experienced anything like that after. So there was a sense that it was special. It was called A Boy's Life at the time.
Oh, it wasn't E.T.
Yeah. And look at that.
Wow, we're looking at
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
So his wife, Melissa Matheson, wrote the screenplay.
Harrison Ford's wife wrote the screenplay to E.T.
He appears in the film as one of the teachers briefly during the frog dissecting sequence with Erica Laniak.
Erica Laniak.
She plays the little girl. I think her credit is Pretty Girl.
The blonde who ended up in Playboy?
Yeah.
Who ended up in Under Siege?
I think Baywatch maybe even.
And Baywatch as well?
Yeah.
Jumped out of the cake in Under Siege?
Maybe in the credits of The Man Show.
Is she?
Maybe, I don't know. I just know the slow motion.
I would have known her by then. Wow, Erica Laniak is in that movie, and Harrison Ford's in that movie.
Correct.
Well, obviously, I'm trying to think.
And there were rumors for a long time that...
that would make sense. Well, no. Then there's Star Wars. Wait, Star Wars was before E.T.
Yes.
So
quite a bit.
Harrison Ford did Star Wars. So he was just kind of...
The only connection there was the fact that his wife wrote the
Right,
script.
so he's like, I'll stand here and do this. I don't care.
So, it was... But he had done Raiders with him.
Oh, right.
So Raiders was the film that I believe he did before E.T.
And post Indiana Jones as well. Right, so he's a big star, but his wife wrote the screenplay, so he's like, I'll hang out.
I'll hang out. So they were friends. In fact, she was on the set of Raiders working on the screenplay of E.T. while they were shooting Raiders.
Interesting. Yeah. And that's the way...
And by the way, Harrison is one of the coolest dudes on the planet.
By the way, I'm reading on my screen that his scene got cut, and he was the principal, which is weird because I was thinking, God, I've seen that movie. I've never seen him in that movie. But...
I think there might be a shot of him, passing through. But his, for the most part, it's pretty minor.
You know, the teacher that did a good job in a movie you were in that didn't get cut was in Red Dawn at the very beginning when they're parachuting out, the big black guy. Who was going over and he was talking about the Huns or he was talking about Genghis Khan or something. And it was a real good piece of acting because I think people think of acting as like, I love you, you love me, you're dying, that kind of stuff. But he was a teacher who was teaching and distracted. Right. Because he was seeing something.
These parachutes dropping.
And it's like a really good piece of acting because he's continuing with the lesson, but he's clearly distracted by what's going on outside the window. And I always thought that guy really nailed that one little scene.
And the moment when he steps out to greet them and offer some sort of sense of guidance, and he just gets ripped apart by a machine gun.
Oh, we're going to watch it, right? We're going to watch it right now.
With the army spread out in a semicircle, I would say about the size of Rhode Island. Then they would ride forward, driving everything
and the
before
Wolverines,
them.
Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Beast, men, even bugs. Now, the ends would kind of close in to form a shrinking circle.
That's Darren Dalton, who was in The Outsiders with me.
And everything within that circle panicked to get out. So when the Mongols could see each other, they had worked themselves up into a pretty good frenzy. Now, when this killing started, it lasted for days, weeks, even months.
I'll watch the whole movie.
And it went on until the young son of the Khan.
I bought this guy as a teacher.
He's like a real history teacher.
I know. Now he's getting distracted.
There he goes.
Be allowed to go free. Well, now, my friend. Well, now.
Oh, check it out. All right.
Oh, but when you hear that music, something's up.
Looks pretty cool, though.
Pretty soon we're going to be pissing in a radiator of a step-side Ford.
This is very unusual.
This is back when movies were movies.
Those were movies. All right. I'll end up, I swear to God, I'll end up watching the whole movie. That's the dangerous part of me. And
how about them trying to remake this movie?
You know,
How did that get past the first meeting. How did somebody say at MGM, I've got an idea, boss. Let's remake Red Dawn. And somebody said, that's a good idea. Let's have a meeting about that. How did that happen?
Well, Hollywood, look, there's IP. There's like name recognition. Like here's what I listen, all bets are off. They made Land of the Lost into a feature.
Yes.
I was like, Land of the Lost was the worst part of my childhood. That was the worst Hanna-Barbera. No, sorry. Sid and Marty Krofft. That was the worst piece of art ever created, ever. Land of the Lost was horrible. So when you do, and by the way, they were trying to do Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. They tried to do everything. And what I would say to people is I'd go, look, there's only two people on the planet, two kinds of people. There's people who've never heard of Land of the Lost, and then there's people who've heard of it and think it's horrible. So I don't know what are you doing? Who are you appealing to? Right. And they got Will Ferrell to star in Land of the Lost. Now, here's the way Hollywood works. People heard of Land of the Lost. They didn't like it. They weren't nostalgic for it. The movie was a piece of shit. It flopped. How many Will Ferrell movies flop, by the way, where he's the star of the movie? But it flopped because no one wanted to see, but they will remake anything. And then Red Dawn, they couldn't find an enemy because they can't do Chinese, and they have to worry about who the bad guy is because they're trying to get distribution.
So originally they were Chinese who invaded America, and then the suits got nervous about that and turned them into North Koreans, which is ridiculous because I don't think North Korea could invade North Korea. Right. But my point is, how the hell? Because it was branded already? I mean, it's not Spider-Man.
People go with recognition, and I keep, like, there's a kind of thing like, look, they brought back the badge Bugatti on an automobile, 20 years ago or 15 years ago. They started making the Bugatti Veyron or whatever they made. The Bugatti came back. Bugatti was a great car from the 30s and the 40s and is worth millions of dollars. And you go, okay, that's a Bugatti. But no one wants to bring back the AMC Pacer because it was a piece of shit. And then people go, but you've heard of the AMC Pacer? And I'm like, I've heard of Bugatti. I've heard of AMC Pacer. One of them's great. The other's a piece of shit. So bring back the great
But these remakes, sequels, whatever, I don't understand why the quality suffers. I mean, the Red, people ask me, did you watch the second Red Dawn? I got to the point to where they were running through the streets being shot at carrying pails of Coca-Cola. I was like, oh, okay.
But you're never going to get further away than Jaws 1 and Jaws 2. And
Jaws 1 was one of my favorite films.
Right. Jaws 2 is horrible. Right. Horrible. So the closest is probably Godfather 1 and Godfather 2 because you go, okay, two great films.
And then 3.
Just
collapses.
Right. But in the 1 and the 2 department, the closest
that's probably the
is
greatest.
Going to be Godfather 1, Godfather 2, and the furthest is going to be Jaws.
I'd have to agree with that.
1 and 2.
I'd have to agree with that.
So the only part I liked about Red Dawn 2, which I could never fully figure out, is my buddy Tanner Faust was one of the stunt drivers on that. And they had a rig. I don't know if you've ever been in one of these. It's a newer technology, but everyone sits in the front cab of the truck, the actors, and they, camera car, they load it up with cameras. And
he's driving it from behind.
He's driving from behind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it seems really weird. He's in a cage behind the car, like in the bed of the truck, with some sort of hydraulics hooked up, pedals and, gas, brake, and everything's all hooked up. And he's driving it through the neighborhood, popping up on the curbs, going by the oak tree, dropping back down the street, and pop back. He's a stunt driver. He's a really good dude, by the way, and he's a really good driver. He's a stunt driver, and he knows the route. The actors, they just put in the truck, and they're at Autotopia Disneyland. That steering wheel's not hooked up to anything.
Because we just had Patrick Swayze doing it.
You just had Swayze doing it.
He was just doing it.
And now they ain't acting when they're acting scared as shit driving through that town because they are scared as shit because Tanner Faust is in the back driving the wheels off the truck and they have no idea where they're going. All they know is they're heading at an oak tree and Tanner at the last second, swings out. but it's kind of nuts that they drive from the back. But you, Swayze, just
we did it. We did it. You know, same thing with the Hitcher. I did almost all of that driving.
Hitcher, I don't know, underrated, underappreciated. I don't know. One of the great horror movies of all time.
Rutger Hauer, man.
Is he still alive?
No, he passed last year.
Oh, last year.
Last year, an amazing human being.
Loved
him.
What now? And he was the blind swordsman, and I don't know what. I need Rutger Hauer's IMDb, but he did a ton.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner is his
character.
biggest, right?
It's huge, man.
So what? Tell me why he was a great guy.
So, well, I'll first of all, he just really took care of me personally. So 3 weeks into shooting, he basically alienated the entire cast and crew because of his, impending, sort of fearful, bigger than life, really menacing persona, to be honest. But he really went out of his way to take care of me. And I'll never forget, one day I was sitting in my chair reading the script, and he kind of leaned into my ear behind me. And he said, "I think we should have lunch together today." And I hadn't spent much time with him, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Grab my tray, I go to his trailer, I go in, I sit down and start eating, and he's got some food in front of him which he doesn't touch. And he's just chain-smoking filterless Camel cigarettes and staring out the window, and nobody has said a word, And after about, which felt like an eternity, but probably 10 minutes, I muster up a little courage into my squeaky 17-year-old voice and say, Rutger, everybody says you're just, you've got the monopoly on villains. What's your secret on playing bad guys? And with that real thick Dutch accent, he leans into me and exhales right in my face, and he says, "I don't play bad guys," which scared the holy hell out of me. Right. And of course, I was too young to really understand what he meant by that. But jump ahead 25 years later, I finally got an opportunity to play a serial killer on a show called Criminal Minds, where I played the Reaper. And I started thinking about what he said, and I had lived life enough to kind of really understand what he meant. And the fact that he was able to play a villain with a full round set of emotions. When he stuck that knife into my eye and stared at me, he was filled with empathy and, love and fear and all these things that a lot of, lesser actors don't incorporate into their performances. So he had this knack for injecting humanity into his villains. And that becomes scary as hell when you start to watch it. But in real life, I think he enjoyed the fact that people were afraid of him.
Yeah.
And he kind of reveled in that a little bit.
I wonder how old he was when he passed away.
He was up there, man. But you know what? He smoked. He smoked every day. Patrick smoked, I think, he said at one point 50, 60 cigarettes a day. And, that shit will catch up to you, man.
50, 60. Yeah, that'll catch up to you. Yeah, I had the only experience I ever had with Patrick was not a good one. 75 years old. I was at a restaurant. And
Rutger was 75.
Rutger, 75. Yeah. Patrick died earlier than that. Yeah. But I was at a restaurant that I sort of part owned a little in Hollywood, L.A. Anyway, we were sitting there, me and a couple guys who enjoyed Red Dawn and, as much as I did. And then there was also Roadhouse and everything else,
sure.
And Swayze went outside to smoke. There was just standing out on the sidewalk, and of course we were all sitting there the whole time. Goes Swayze. And so it was sort of like I was kind of elected, like Adam, go talk to him, get a picture, whatever. And I was like, why I got it? Well, he might recognize you, Otherwise, we'll just be bothering him, And he was just out there smoking, and at a certain point, I just got up, and I think we just walked out to the sidewalk where we were smoking. And I sort of said, "Hey, Patrick, I'm Adam Carolla, and just wanted to say I'm a fan, and these guys are fans too. And he was like, he just did a thing where he just went, okay, and I went like, okay, I just wanted to say hi, and he went.
So it was awkward.
It was awkward. It was awkward. It was sort of tantamount to walking up to a woman at a bar and asking if you could buy her drink or sit down or something, and she just she didn't hit you over the head with a purse or anything. She just kind of went like, I'm good. It was like kind of that, where you kind of you slunk back to your bar stool and went like,
I think a lot of artists don't know how to respond in that moment.
I didn't
because
think he was a bad person. I was just kind of like, I wanted us to do a big Red Dawn hug or something.
Sure.
I don't judge him, and I think he was a good guy and all that kind of stuff. That was my only interaction with him. But you do have to be cognizant of it if you're a person, because people just have that one memory of you when they come up to you at the airport or wherever it is.
Agreed. But here's the thing, right? People think that they know you and that you should know them because you've been in their living room on that television.
That's true.
So they feel like they know you. And, I have no problem when somebody comes up to me and says something. In fact, I feel a little bit more like what you just mentioned. If I'm kind, if I could take a moment and take a picture with somebody or, knuckle bump somebody, I've just gained not one fan, but probably a dozen more fans, because that guy's going to tell everybody, met that guy in the airport, super cool dude.
Right.
But I've heard these other stories where guys are just like, what a douchebag, man. I'm not going to watch any more of his movies. And they tell everybody they know about that.
Well, listen, I agree too. Actually, the fun thing to do if someone is a fan and they like you and you can tell they're a little nervous or something, is you overdo it the other way. I always go, oh, get in here. And I hug them real big and I'll freak them out a little bit. And then they got a weird story.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to do that. I'm looking down here. I see that you were in LBJ, directed by Rob Reiner, who everyone loved. And we all know that story crazily. I don't know if you had any thoughts about Rob or working with him or what that was like.
My experience with him was phenomenal. Extremely professional. One of those guys that came on the set, knew what he wanted. You do 8. A long day was maybe 9 or 10 hours. A lot of these directors, you're there 17, 18 hours. Treated me with the utmost respect. I'll never forget, I had to audition for the role and went in and read a part. Before I got back home, I got the call from the rep that said, they're going to offer you this part. And, it was a smaller role, but it was important for me at the time. And he was a very important director at the time. And, really just tragic when I heard the news. And nobody deserves to go out like that, right? No matter who you are. But I look back on my career and there's people that I've worked with, whether it was Francis Ford Coppola or John Milius or Rob Reiner, Steven Spielberg. And these are the type of guys that really have helped me form a professionalism that you can't learn when, you're a young kid on a Disney show where everybody is coddling you.
Right.
There's nothing but bad habits to learn in that environment. So I feel really blessed to have worked with guys like that.
Sean did Rocky, right?
Milius?
Yeah.
No, that was John Avnet, I believe.
Oh, well then Milius did...
Milius did Red Dawn.
Oh, okay.
Right, and then he did Conan.
Oh, he wrote Apocalypse Now.
He wrote Apocalypse.
That's right.
He wrote the famous Robert Shaw speech in Jaws about World War whatever when he goes off.
Yeah, do you know that story?
Yes.
I mean, the story of
how that happened?
How they filmed it? Yeah, well, tell it. Yeah.
So
the ship that dropped off the parts for the atomic bomb got torpedoed on the way back, and because it was a secret mission, they didn't know they were in the water.
And they were being eaten.
They're being eaten by sharks.
Yeah.
So
one of my favorite moments in the film.
But you know the filming story of it. So Robert Shaw, Indianapolis. But so Robert Shaw used to like to have a couple of drinks on the set.
Or more.
And when it came time to film that super pivotal scene, he was sloppy drunk by the time they got to that scene.
And still giving Dreyfuss and Scheider acting class.
Oh, he was great, but he has this big pivotal scene, and he's pretty shit-faced by the time he gets to that scene, and they shoot the scene, and he basically goes back to his hotel room, passes out, and then like the next morning, like gets up and goes to Spielberg or Milius or whoever and goes, listen, I got drunk and there's no way that came out the way I wanted it to come out. Can we reshoot it? Can we redo it? Oh, yeah. So and they basically, he just says, look, I got drunk and I fucked it up. So let's do it again. Let's go again. And I think he got less drunk and
had a second go.
And had a second go. And that's the one that made the film.
Those old school greats. I did a film called The Return of the Musketeers, and I played Oliver Reed's son, the late, great Oliver Reed. And he had recently been married to a much younger woman than he was. And part of his agreement for the marriage was that he would quit drinking. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll never forget, I get a phone call, and it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and he never called me by my real name. I don't think he ever knew my real name, but he called me Boy. Mm-hmm. He says, Boy, I need you to go down to the park, and there's a gentleman in a long black leather coat. Buy me a ball of hash and meet me in my apartment.
Wow. What year is this?
What do you do? This was probably, I'd say, 87-ish, Return of the Musketeers.
Wow.
88, because I remember it was during the Olympics. And of course, without hesitation, I went to the park and bought some hash and delivered it to the incredible...
it says Oliver Reed died in the middle of a drinking contest with Royal Navy sailors in 1999.
Well, I think while filming the film with Russell Crowe, the great Gladiator, yeah.
He died during the filming of Gladiator?
I believe so, yes. Because they had to actually digitally insert shots of him to finish the picture.
Yeah, we can, you think back on like when they were doing Fast and Furious and
but this was back when men were men.
I know. What's his name died? They get his brother to like stub. But nowadays, you die in the middle of a film, we'll replace you digitally. You're done. Right?
Well, I was speaking of The Return of the Musketeers, so I was actually in a scene when we were riding horses across a cobblestone bridge, and the amazing Roy Kinnear, who played Veruca Salt's father in the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Daddy, I want a golden goose now. He fell off his horse and was killed in that shot.
With you in it?
I was in it, man. And it was horrific.
He fell off and like hit his head or something?
Fell off. He was extremely overweight, so he ruptured his intestines. And of course, we were in the middle of Toledo, Spain, hours from a decent hospital. By the time they got him to the hospital, he had passed. And
in the middle of the shoot?
In the middle of the shoot.
Wow.
So here's the irony, right? He didn't. The night before, I made him dinner. We were watching the Olympics, and he was extremely fearful about this. He hadn't been on a horse for 25 years.
Oh, and this is 89, by the way, The Return of the Musketeers.
So he, 25 years earlier, he was on a horse on the other Musketeer movie where he fell off and broke a leg.
Now, they had a first one that had
Chamberlain.
Richard Chamberlain.
Michael York.
Michael York. That's right. And I do believe that, oh, God, what's the beautiful Raquel Welch was in it.
It's very possible.
See if Raquel Welch was in the first one. I saw the first one in theater, but this is the return of whatever.
Yeah.
So you make him dinner the night before.
So I make Roy Kinnear dinner the night before, and he's telling me, look, I really don't want to do this. And I've come from a horse background.
Oh, right.
And, you know, there was a big thing made over the fact that they could just double him and get away with the shot. And the director, who was his best friend, mind you.
Faye Dunaway and Raquel Welch
That's a
in
cast.
the first one. Yeah.
So Richard Lester, the director, was one of his best friends and said, I really need you to do this. And, of course, he was killed in that shot. Well, we had 3 or 4 more weeks of shooting to go. Everybody wanted to stop filming. And, of course, they were capable of mimicking him and doubling him throughout the rest of the movie when they could have just doubled him for that one shot.
Yeah, always similar to, I don't know, Three Musketeers, those bridges that are cobblestone. There's like an arch going over the river, and they're all, you know, to the castle.
Correct. That's where it happened.
God, Dick Lester directed Hard Day's Night.
Yeah, sure, man. And the other one as well, I believe.
It just keeps, you know, it's so funny when you start tugging at the string of the Hollywood sweater and it just keeps going. It just
and
keeps
Roy
going.
Kinnear's son, Rory Kinnear, is an incredible actor in all the Bond movies, and you know, just turned into, you know, an amazing artist himself.
I should plug, by the way, the movie you came here to talk about as well. I want to know, how does it's called 1 Mile, and the sequel, 1 More Mile. It'll be in theaters February. This coming up soon.
That's correct.
In theaters only at the beginning.
It'll be in theaters, and then it'll go to streaming. And ironically, and I've never had this happen, but we shot 2 films back to back. And the plan originally was to release them individually, but for this particular run, they're going to, you know, you buy a ticket for one, you see both films in the theater.
Wow.
So it's...
How'd this come about? Or how did you get involved with the project?
A gentleman named Aaron Kaplan, who came up with the idea with his daughter when they were traveling around the country, basically looking for a school for her to go to. I play the heavy in it. It's about a guy that's taking his daughter to go look at schools when his daughter is kidnapped.
Ah.
And, you know, I just got a call from Aaron's people, and he said Aaron would really like you to read this script. In fact, there's going to be, you know, 2 of them back to back. And I read it, and, man, whenever I get the chance to play the heavy, I'm in.
Right.
I love it. The bad guy's the role to have, always.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of thought it was going to be distributed separately, and an offshoot of Paramount, a company called Republic, I believe, is distributing it, and they fell in love with it, and they said, we're going to just release them simultaneously, and Ryan Felipe is the lead in it.
I like that dude.
He's cool, man. Super cool guy. Good
and
actor,
what's
too.
going on musically with you?
So I just released my second album, Damn Good Man. You know, COVID hit, and I just decided that I'd follow a dream, and I started writing songs and put a band together, and my second album is out right now, and it's something that I really am passionate about. You know, going from the 2-hour storytelling format to the 2-minute storytelling format was pretty seamless for me, and I enjoy it. It's a little, you know, managing a band is a little bit like taking, you know, a Girl Scout troop on a ski trip. It can be, you know, It can be a challenge, but for the most part, the creative outlet, you know, getting up there on stage and performing is remarkable. And so, you know, we opened for Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Oh, yeah.
We opened for Tanya Tucker, the Gatlin Brothers. I mean, we really had a good run. And this past year, I've just been kind of focusing on film again.
I was playing a club. What club was I? No, you guys don't know. What the hell club I was playing in Texas? Oh, the barn. The Big Red Barn? No. Shit. Anyway, the Gatlin brothers were coming in the next.
We had a hell of a
next
moment
day.
with old Larry on the show when you came
Yeah.
and did my show for me in Nashville, which I loved, by the way. You were fantastic. I don't know if you get enough credit for your stand-up and what you do, but the way your mind works, the ping pong ball game that
Oh,
we
yeah,
did,
that was fun.
brilliant. If you ever get a chance to see this guy live, go do it because it's worth every moment. And I don't say that because I just want to come and hang out on your show. Really was impressed by what you did, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, I got shows coming up all over the place. Go to Carolla.com. Yeah, Do-Si Do Big Barn. I think that's where I played. And the Gatlin brothers were coming in the next weekend, and it's so surreal. C. Thomas Howell, always great.
Thank you, man.
Always great
Thank
seeing my
you.
brother. We'll take a break. We'll come back with ELISHA and the news right after this. Homes.com. Some might say Homes.com is the best home shopping site. I would say that. Maybe Homes.com, super comprehensive and transparent agent directory. Or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home the best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. I like to hang out at Homes.com just to see what's out there because it's a hobby. But if you're serious and you want to buy a home, you go to Homes.com. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
Pluto TV has thousands of free movies and TV shows.
This is the mindset. Free.
This is the mantra.
Free.
This is the mindset. With movies like Joe Dirt, Pixels, and 50 First Dates. This is awesome. And TV shows like Survivor, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Fairly Odd Parents, and Ghosts. Pluto TV is always free. Huzzah! Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
You're welcome.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
Wolverine.
If you said Red Dawn,
Wolverines!
you're correct. Now, back to the show.
You know what's always funny about Ozzy and all people that butcher the English language? I can say chupacabra. It's not an English thing.
And
it's
a
not. Yeah, it's not our word, but it's your word,
And quesadilla.
and you call it that. I don't say quesadilla. I say quesadilla.
Sometimes I say quesadilla just because that's how Kip says it in Napoleon Dynamite. Or the uncle. Which one was it? Was it Uncle Rico or?
Overrated, don't care, but I know what you're talking about. My last name is Carolla, not Carollo, or Carolla. It's Carolla. And C. Thomas Howell is not it doesn't end with a Y. It ends with two L's, but it's Howell. So that's how they say it. But you guys say quesadilla, and I go along with it because that's what you named it. And I don't go, fuck that, it's quesadillo. And then you go, what? And then someone jumps in and goes, that's how Adam says it, where he, no, you just change. I didn't name a Wolverine. That's not me. No one in my family named a Wolverine. I don't even know exactly who named a Wolverine, but that's what they're called.
Wolverine.
But you can say Wolverine.
Yeah, I'm laughing over here because it reminds me of, I believe it was Kimmel's family, someone in Kimmel's family who called the movie Hannah and Her Sisters.
That was his uncle. I think that was Vinny, Jimmy's uncle, or was, God, it could have been, well, it could have been Uncle Frank, but such a New Yorker that Hannah and Her Sisters, he pronounced Hannah and Her Sisters.
It's kind of like
which is, I like when that That was my. I'm going to trade my Sav in for a Bobo. You took the two letters and you used them, but you can say them both. And listen, I don't think it's me being an ugly American to go, hey,
speak English.
That's fucking how it's pronounced. It's just pronounced this way. By the way, once I toggle back and forth, like I go, it's not. The car is called a Saab, not a Sav, a Saab. I just did it. I just went back and forth. You can do
R.I.P.
it.
Saab, by the way. They don't make them anymore.
No, they still probably make fighter jets or something. All right. It's the 1-year anniversary of the fire. Wow. I know. Can't believe it. And somebody tweeted me a 3-minute little piece on it, and I thought I would share that with you because it's interesting, and then I'll add a little clarity to it.
1 year after the Palisades fire, the devastation in Malibu and the lack of progress is shocking, with only 22 building permits issued. For perspective, the city of LA has issued over 1,300 permits in Pacific Palisades. Over 700 homes were destroyed in Malibu, 300 of them beachfront along Pacific Coast Highway. Malibu City Councilman Steve Uring is worried wealthy developers will come in and combine lots, building 20,000 square foot homes, a second or third home for someone, not homes for permanent residents.
It's got to be a community that has a group of homeowners who live here, who are invested in the community, who participate in what goes on in the community, and that's what will make us a good city again.
So it's no surprise longtime Malibu residents like Uring have concerns about what New Zealand billionaire brothers Matt and Nick Mowbray are up to. They've purchased these 16 beachfront lots where they plan to build 16 prefab homes that are constructed at their company's factory in China and shipped here.
What's unique with our system, it's a fire-safe system. Walls are made out.
All right, so hold on. So this guy's the director for the prefab building homes.
He does have the voice of a construction villain.
Yeah.
Like somebody that would come in and take your home.
He's got a lot of diehard villain in his voice, you know what I mean?
9?
So, first off, no one's going to build a 20,000 square foot house on the beach.
Especially on those lots.
There are 2,000 square foot homes, and then there's a couple of big ones, but they max out at like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
20 is insane. But the guys, by the way, everyone stop exaggerating so much when you're telling the story because it makes me not believe you. But anyway, he doesn't want big homes built on double, triple lots. Now, these guys, if you buy a lot, these lots are small. Mm-hmm. And if they're spread out, they're spread out. But if you buy 3 in a row, then maybe you are fixing on putting a bigger structure with the 3.
Some of those look like they were multiples in a row and then some one-offs too.
Yes. Yeah. So this guy's explaining that they build these things sort of fireproof, lightweight cement. They build them in China. They ship them. They're modular, and then they put them together. So go ahead, sorry.
Which is a very lightweight concrete.
The Mowbray brothers have spent summers in Malibu, and their team says it's a community they love, a community they want to rebuild. The prefab homes are luxury, high-end homes that will look different and can be produced in 4 to 6 weeks. The price of the homes will depend on the real estate market once they're complete. Because of the difficulties in building in Malibu with septic systems, a seawall, and all the site preparation needed before construction, the Mowbrays believe their company Zuru Tech is best suited for this project.
Our plan was to build
All right, so you can pause it. So here's the thing that's kind of the rub, which is the house can be prefabbed and built in 6 weeks
That's
and
insane.
shipped over. Stuff's getting fast now, and the prefab stuff, they're starting to figure it out now.
For like maybe an office or a sauna, not for like a
They're
a
doing
whole
it.
entire house. That's crazy.
There's a lot of there's a lot more modular companies now, and they're figuring it out. And they're getting faster. Shipping's always expensive. If you think about it, you have to ship a house. But they're going to boat it over from China or whatever. But
Are we not concerned about all the chemicals and child labor that was used to make them in China? Just
it's
throwing
cheaper.
that out there.
It's better. But the thing is the foundation, you can do all the prefab China-built factory homes you want and ship them over here, but you still have to put them on a foundation that's approved by the Coastal Commission.
And those deputy inspectors.
And the deputy inspectors, and that is going to require hundreds of yards of concrete and thousands of feet of rebar and $2.5 million and a very long, complicated, and expensive build. So you could take that house and set it on what we're looking at, which is tons of caissons and seawalls and grade beams.
How much is that in that, right, the infrastructure to just shore up a proper foundation? A couple million?
That's what I'm saying. 2.5.
$2.5 million.
2.5. I'd say 2 to 2.5 to build. We're flying the drone. Andrew's flying the drone over this new construction. Those things go down into the ground 4 stories each. It's crazy. So as far as expediency and efficiency, you can do all that with your modular home in the factory, and you can be done in 6 weeks, but you aren't going to have a place to park them for a year. Engineering, soils report, deputy inspector, tons and tons. I mean,
well, unless they donate to Newsom.
Donate to Newsom, maybe get a break. I mean, each concrete truck, a full concrete truck, holds 9 yards of concrete. That's why they go the whole 9 yards. I think it's from that.
Oh.
Yeah. See what you learn?
Little euphemism history there.
I always thought it was from sailing because there is a yard arm, 3 yard arms on 3 masts of a classic sailboat.
Well, look it
9.
up. Listen, it's old. It's an old thing, so maybe it predates the 9 yards that go
But in construction, it's for the cement.
In construction, it's the whole 9 yards. All right, well, look it up. It sounds that way. So one of those cement trucks fills about half of one of those caisson holes. Wow. So each caisson you see has 2 trucks. And so you know how much concrete they got in that place?
And that ain't cheap.
It ain't cheap, and it's insane. So anyway, there is no building in Malibu. There shall be no building. There's one site. That's this site, the only one I've ever seen. And my prediction of permits, good luck, Coastal Commission, good luck, and you fucks ain't building anything that I gave exactly 1 year and 1 day ago, I think have come to fruition.
Well, it's interesting that even in this local ABC News report, they're talking about 16 beachfront homes by 2029. So even prefabbing those homes, like you said, clearly their timeline is maybe taking into consideration all the things that you've laid out.
If you didn't have to do the whole seawall and the whole Coastal Commission thing, you could have that shit up and running by this summer. Wow. But they're not going to let you do that. These guys have been slaving away at this one foundation on this one site for months and months and months. Because if you think about the effort, you got to get a caisson rig in there. You have to drill all the holes. I mean, it's great. The whole 9 yards has no clear origin, but the popular theories, cement mixers and WW2 ammo belts, 27 feet long.
Also, how they sold cloth. 9 yards of cloth for garments. 9 yards long.
Where the hell does sailing thing come from?
I had heard
it
that...
sounded like a
you
legitimate answer.
You bring up sailing, everyone will go, I buy it.
Yeah, I know.
I buy it.
Nobody
But
understands
you know how classic sailboats...
wet-ass pussy? Well, that's an old Mariners. You just say old Mariner thing, and I'm down with anything.
Come on, my grandfather was a merchant marine. We know these things.
So he did the wet-ass pussy. He told me about that, but it goes way back.
I had heard that sailboats have, some old ones have 3 masts.
They have a yard arm.
And there are 3 yard arms. And if you're going at full speed with full wind, you have the whole 9 yards.
And most things that we say today are like hundreds of years old.
But that's not on the internet.
No, but I would have believed that over Adam. Sorry, Adam. Because most of the euphemisms and phrases that we use like that are over 100 years old.
Did you know that when Snoop Dogg does "D's nuts," that's an old time Mariner?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Uh-huh. All right, sorry.
Yo ho ho and all D's nuts.
All right.
Yes, actually, it is on the internet. The yards is the yard arms. The sail thing is on the same page. Yeah.
I like that Snoop Dogg was 47 and a half when he became enamored with the D's nuts joke. It's not like he was his junior year of high school. Snoop Dogg got into the D's nuts things when he was his mid-40s. He thought it'd be a good idea to work that into every conversation. All right, so there may be prefab homes, but there will be no place to put them. That was my argument.
For a while.
Yeah, a long while. My argument was never, can people build houses? People can frame up and build a house fast. It's what about the foundation, and what are they going to let you do? And the answer is not much. I'll have a big, should have a big episode, a big vlog coming out in the next day or so that'll cover all this stuff.
I mean, it's really weird how it seems like forever ago and then yesterday all at the same time.
Yeah, I think that means we're getting old.
That means we're getting old, but it also felt like the fires just went on forever. And maybe it's because I had 2 different rounds of refugees at my house during the time. Oh, yeah. Like friends that had to bring their pets and their belongings and their kids. And, school was shut down. And my 12-year-old at the time, she was like, this is a bigger deal than COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I think for the kids, even though COVID was lasted longer, for all of the city, people that personally, professionally, like, our church, our community, and our school, like at every level, professionally, every level, people were affected.
Right.
And now these people are still affected. They just had to go through the holidays, not in their homes. Most of them not even being able to have permits to rebuild their homes if they can afford to rebuild their homes.
They said 22 permits in Malibu out of 700.
And then you notice how
homes.
they said 1,300 for LA County.
Right.
But Altadena's able to push them out way better than Karen Bass and the Palisades are. So
no, we're not.
Out of the 12,000 structures lost, we're celebrating 1,300.
Well, here's the deal. You have Karen Bass, who has no interest in this stuff. And I will say this. I know you don't like me bashing on women, but
no, I'm an equal opportunity basher. I don't like the use of the B word when you bash on women.
Oh, that bitch. Here's my experience with women. It's hard to get them interested in stuff they're not interested in. Now,
I would say that's most politicians across the board. But
well,
okay.
hold on. I've said it a million times. I am more than willing to watch any documentary. I'll watch 20 Feet from Stardom or whatever about black backup singers in Motown or something like that. I will watch any doc. Any woman I've ever been with, I'm like, we're going to watch the Carol Shelby doc. And they go, I'm not watching a car doc. I'm not into, they announce they're not into something. I'm not going to watch it. I don't do it. I think guys are a little less rigid in what they'll watch. Little less. Not by and large. But Karen Bass likes dancing in Ghana. She's not into permits and seawalls and engineering and doing her. She's not interested in this. And I just think it's not her thing. Her thing is I'm fighting ICE. I mean, she has an interest in fighting the federal government. In her world, she was put here to stand up to ICE, not find you a permit. And she's not interested. And there's nothing more powerful than not interested.
I feel like everybody, no matter what level of office they're in, and some people on the right are guilty of this too. It's like they're trying to put themselves like on par with the president. Like you could be a city council person here in LA and it's like, well, my fight's against Donald Trump.
Right. I'm going to stand.
Like, no, your job is to actually keep drug dealers off of the streets and make sure there's no needles at the local playground so I can safely take my kids there.
Right. And I'm glad you've anointed yourself a warrior to fight the president of the United States. But
I don't give a shit.
There's a pothole issue in front of my house, and I want you to focus on that.
An old lady just tripped on that tree root
on
that's
the
breaking
sidewalk.
up the sidewalk.
Right. And I know that's not fighting Donald Trump, and it doesn't make you seem like a hero, but you're not. Trump doesn't know who you are. And he doesn't give a shit, and you're not going to do anything. And you can yell "not on my watch" as much as you want, but meanwhile,
as you let the city burn.
Yeah, Mrs. Beasley broke her hip walking across the sidewalk because the tree root, because you guys never got around to fixing the sidewalk. So just focus on the boring shit, and that's another issue. I don't think they want to do the boring shit. They want to fight
They
Trump.
don't want to clear out the 40,000 acres of brush.
Right, that's boring shit.
They don't want to,
Karen Bass wants to fight Trump and fight ICE and stand up and be brave and never sit down and have her voice heard, but she doesn't want to clear brush. It's boring. That's a problem in government, local. All right, what's your stories?
One of the many problems in government.
O'Reilly Auto Parts, yeah. Love me some O'Reilly Auto Parts. They keep your car on the road. They've got friendly people who work there. The staff is all friendly, and they know cars. Not just reading boxes back to you. They actually know the parts, the stuff that's in the box. I've gone there plenty of times. Thought I needed one thing. needed something else to get the fix right. But you people that like turning wrenches and working on your cars, you go to O'Reilly. But you can get your battery tested there too, by the way, in or out of the car. So you don't have to go to one of these places. Even if you're clueless, you can go in there. You'll find the people who work there are knowledgeable and they're friendly as well. It is a one-stop shop for DIY work, and you'll find what you need in-store or online at O'Reilly, right, Dawson?
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit them at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
Pluto TV has thousands of free movies and TV shows.
This is the mindset. Free. This is the mantra. Free. This is the mindset.
With movies like Joe Dirt, Pixels, and 50 First Dates. This is awesome. And TV shows like Survivor, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Fairly Odd Parents, and Ghosts. Pluto TV is always free. Huzzah! Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
You're welcome.
All right, well, here's a disturbing story of the day, also here in California. A trans gym goer was caught masturbating in a women's bathroom at a California Planet Fitness. Just outside of San Francisco. Apparently, this happened last May, but the footage only exploded online over the weekend. The clip was originally posted to TikTok and shows the shadow of an unidentified person appearing to perform a sex act on themselves. And the young woman who posted it alerted the front desk staff at the time, but the employees didn't know how to handle the situation. Her boyfriend eventually stepped in to confront the trans gym goer, and addressing the saga, she said it took her so long to post this, and she now regrets not doing more at the time and posting it
She's
later.
in the ladies' room.
She's in the ladies' locker room / bathroom at the gym.
All right. We'll
Oh, God,
play it
there's
out.
video.
Oh, it's a shadow. It's kind of interesting the way the lighting works because you'd think the guy
I can't.
was just on the pot, but you can see the Austin Powers shadow move on there where he's just tugging on it.
In a women's locker room.
So it's the shadow on the floor, and he's sitting on the pot, and he's...
I didn't know we were actually going to show the video of this.
He's going at it. So now they're trying to kick him. They're trying to get him out of there.
It looks like the staff showed up.
All right, you can pause it for a second. Let me just say this, as I've told you many times. The part of society where we're going to kind of just, go on the honor system, it's so far down the road, we can't even do that anymore.
Oh, no.
And every single time we go, look, here's our policy. If a man
says he's a woman,
he may then use, no more. No more.
Yeah, no.
It would have been nice if we could do it, but we can't do it, so no more.
This is a form of sexual harassment. I mean, so this dude goes into the ladies' locker room, is looking at all these hotties, and is, excited about it.
Yeah, who's not going to take advantage of that as a dude?
Steps into a stall to finish his business.
Yeah.
It is so gross and violative on so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
This poor girl, I think there's a video of her boyfriend confronting the guy too. The boyfriend, kudos to him, did way more than the dumb employees at this place.
Dawson, you remember that time I was sitting here between Brian and Gina, and this happened at the Wii Spa, essentially, and
yes,
they had their theories about what happened?
Was that the
fairly
situation?
insane show, right?
Yeah.
Gina said it never happened, which is a weird angle. Now, I don't think she wanted it to happen, but her angle was it never happened.
Like a hoax.
No.
It's not typically.
Her thing was it just did. Yeah, hoax, and that it did never happen. And then Brian's thing is it was a candid camera thing. It was a jackass thing.
Oh, like
and
it was
I remember just sitting in between the two of them, going, "What? They're both the weirdest, craziest theories
Was the
I've
Wii
ever heard in my
Spa
life."
one the one that it was the mom with her prepubescent daughters too? They went for a
it
girls'
was the
dance?
same lady that asked Swalwell.
Yeah. It was just this black woman who's like, "There's a guy with a dick in my thing.
Yeah.
I'm not." And
Well, there was that other story here in L.A.
And I was like, he's a weirdo who's exposing himself.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Brian and Jim were like, no.
Yep.
Brian did think it was a joke.
Did you guys see?
Gina said it never happened. Which, by the way, In her
Did
world,
we have the video at that time?
Yeah, we did. The thing about Gina is she's a fan of these people, so in her world, it didn't happen. But that's not good journalism, just because you like the trans community.
Or good truth-telling.
Yes.
You want to get to the
So
truth.
we got into trouble with COVID. People just made up their own stuff.
Well, and if we're for protecting and Me Tooing and yes, all womening, then when a woman says, hey, I'm uncomfortable with this man pulling his dick out in a female locker room, shouldn't we side with the woman in that scenario?
You know, we're getting very confused about a lot of this stuff. All the people that are pro-women's rights are also pro-Palestine, you know, and it's like...
Completely ignoring the bravery of the women in Iran throwing their hijabs off their heads.
We're pro-gay rights.
Yeah.
We're pro-Palestine as well. Like, they're really starting to get confused on that side of the aisle.
I mean, I think we talked about it on the show before, but right here in L.A., Tish Hyman, a black lesbian woman who she was kicked out of the Gold's Gym.
That's right.
After she said, hey, there's this guy in there and he's being really aggressive. And when I asked him what he was doing, he threatened to attack me.
Yeah. So,
I mean, but no, now the left isn't siding with the person of color that also is a part of the LGBTQ flag. It's insanity.
I'm told there's more on the vid that's funny.
Oh, God.
So.
Oh, God.
You were really comfortable touching your shit. Bro, I literally saw your shadow, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Listen, you saw my shadow. That doesn't mean anything.
That sounds like a man.
I was getting myself together, so I don't understand.
Okay, pal.
Yeah.
Okay, pal. Yeah. Okay, pal. Okay, pal. Whatever you say. Come on, baby.
No.
Let's go.
So that's her boyfriend.
Call the cops or do something about this, because this is...
we already informed our manager.
Yeah.
All right.
Our society, I feel sorry for everyone who works anywhere anymore. Because everyone's nuts now.
I already talked to her about coming in here because people have a problem with me being here, and that's why I've been waiting.
Yeah.
Bro, we have a video of what you were doing, bro. The shadow says it all, bro. Don't act innocent.
Only the shadow
I saw the
knows.
fucking video. I was on FaceTime watching you, bro. That's fucking crazy work, bro. You're in the fucking females' locker room beating your dick, bro. Come on, bro. That is
Hold on a
some weird
second. I'm always
Look
envious.
at that poor employee that's just standing there not sure what to do.
I'm envious of the guys who talk like 9-year-olds talk, where they just they just keep talking.
Bro.
Bro, you're in a bathroom stall beating your own dick, okay, bro? I FaceTime and I saw the shadow, okay? And while I was being FaceTime, you were doing cock time. Okay, bro? So we know it's like, I'm just going to say I will narrate life. I don't know. Who are you more jealous of? Those guys or the chicks on the airplane when the TSA security guy and the cops like confront the guy in the seat, they're like, you have to leave or we're going to take you off this flight. And they, at some point after 20 minutes, they go, all right, here we go. And they grab the guy and they start pulling him. And you always hear that one woman yell, what's going on? It's like, what do you mean, what's going on? You've been watching the scene play out for 40 minutes. You, of all people, know what's going on. I don't. I'm at home. But you're 4 seats behind a guy who's been asked to leave the plane 28 times.
And you have no idea.
And now they've grabbed him, and you have to yell what's going on out loud.
Alicia, what Bay Area city was this in?
It just said a Planet Fitness just outside of San Francisco. It did not give a name of the location. The Concord area. So I don't know
It's called Concord, and that's where I grew up.
Oh,
Concord?
wow.
Yeah, so I guess there's a Planet Fitness
It's
in
like saying
Concord,
San Pedro
California.
instead of San Pedro. You have to say Concord.
Concord. That's the way it is.
I think the trans guy tugging his nub he could talk to Garagos, but I think there's a class action. Not a class action, but
Well,
he's got
it's
a
probably
lawsuit.
a hate crime that she recorded it because
There's that,
if he is a
and
trans
what
person.
about the lighting contractor who does all the lights with
There
those
you go.
can lights right above the commode, which accentuate a woman tugging his hog?
I wish that this girl that posted this to TikTok though had posted the what you call it, like the
Postmortem?
no, it has her words up there. Why am I
Oh.
looking? Closed captions for what the trans man
Sure, it'd be
was
nice to know
saying.
what they say. You know, in
because he
London-
was griping about like, oh well, people don't want me here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't want you here.
If this happened in London, they would immediately arrest the guy who mentioned the shadow because he kept saying, bro.
All right, keep it going. I want to hear what else he says.
Your dick, bro. Come on, bro. That is some weird ass fucking shit. Doesn't matter who you are. That's inappropriate to be doing with females around. As a nut. Listen, as somebody with a fucking penis, I'm not gonna walk into the women's bathroom and jack my shit, bro. It doesn't matter if I'm fucking gay or if I'm fucking trans. That is so inappropriate. That is far beyond the fucking lines, bro.
Say what you want. I was in the stall, right?
Hey, nobody's gonna hurt you, bro. Nobody's gonna hurt you.
It's a man. You're in the stall. It is inappropriate. Do that shit at home. Don't go be in a public fucking place. Bro, do you go to the Taco Bell bathroom and jack off, bro?
Hold on a second. I'm in love with this guy because he overstates the obvious. Bro, you beat off at home, okay, bro? You don't go to Jack in the Box, bro, and stand in line, ready to have the 2 tacos for 99 cents, bro, and you stand in line and you're beating off, bro. That's not where you do it, bro. I got kids, okay, bro? It's not okay to go into a place with women and tug on your own hog, okay, bro? So listen to me. It's never okay to take your hog and take it to a public space, bro. I've been to a Taco Bell, bro. I didn't see anyone beating off, okay, bro? Now, you do that at home.
This is why Democrats lost, by the way. Because
you
had this guy.
They fought for this. This is what they fought for. This is what they fought for.
And the bro guy, the brave boyfriend that we're in love with right now, is such an average dude that can see the insanity of this right in front of his face and see how it violated his girlfriend and all of the other women in that bathroom, and is actually doing the chivalrous thing by calling this shit out as the gym does nothing.
I know that somebody in the Democratic Party 8 years ago should have went, we're not going to fucking defend this shit. We look like idiots. Nobody's for this shit. Knock it off. Well, what about the black vote? Yeah, they don't like this shit. And neither the Latino vote. So those are your constituencies. So fucking knock it off. You look like assholes.
I mean, I'm sure
but what about the LGBT? Okay, you're not saying men can't get married. We're just saying none of this. Can you parse it out?
That there's been a lot of weird incidents in Taco Bell bathrooms, given the product. Allegedly.
All right, let's keep going. Let's see if there's more talk. I like this guy.
Bro, do you go to the Taco Bell bathroom and jack off, bro? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
You got underage people walking in here. Right, minors, like.
You guys, I was in the stall.
It does not.
He's not even saying it didn't happen.
I know.
You were in the women's bathroom.
I'm allowed to be in here.
Doesn't matter if you're allowed to be in here. You're not allowed to fucking jerk off in here, bro. That is so fucking weird. Bro, we have video fucking proof.
Are you allowed to video people in the stall? No. So why are you...
It doesn't fucking matter. You are a male in the fucking female bathroom jerking your fucking penis, bro. It does not fucking matter. You have a fucking penis and you are jerking off in the female bathroom.
I was not jerking off.
Yes, you were. We have a fucking video of it, bro. I was on FaceTime.
What were you doing? What were you doing?
I was trying to get a golf ball out of a sock.
Yes,
he was drying off.
How many minutes straight you were drying off?
Oh, so that was you in the shower. Right.
I was in the shower.
Yeah, right.
Bro, let's be on some real fucking shit right now, bro.
The real shit is you were filming me in the stall, and you're saying that I'm doing something wrong.
Yes, you were fucking jerking
I got one of those shake weights from the rack.
It's all right. We got you on camera. Like, you're in the women's bathroom jerking off. That's in the one. It's good. The manager will handle it. Maybe the cops. However they
Hold on a second.
It.
Somewhere, not too far away, this guy is, I don't know, 27. I don't know what he is. Let's just call him 25, 27, whatever. His parents are alive.
Oh, God.
His parents could be in their mid-40s, could be 52 years old. At some point, mom's in the kitchen, cooking up dinner. Dad's sitting at the computer. Sharon, I want you to come in. No, Sharon's maybe. I don't know. I don't think He could live at home. He could.
That's the narrative I'm telling you.
Sharon, come in. Come in here. I got to show you something. It's about Todd.
Hey, what's up, Dad?
Oh, wait a minute. We're going to see now you got I'm calling I said his parents. His parents are his parents. And I tried to do a thing where the dad was sitting at the computer and the mom was in the kitchen, and then the dad called the mom in.
Oh, called the mom. I thought he was calling the kid.
Then
My
you
bad.
yelled, he still lives at
I
home.
thought you were saying Jared. That's why.
Well, look,
There's a
anytime I
dad
open
and
my
a
mouth,
mom.
I ruin
There's
an
a
improv.
dad and a mom, and the dad's sitting at the computer, and the mom's in the kitchen, and the dad shouts out, "Sharon, come in here!" And then you yell, "He lives at home!" And then, and Dawson does the voice of the child, and now we're off and running. All right. The point is the parents had to come across this at some point, right?
You think like a neighbor saw it?
No, I bet the dad saw it and was looking at the guy tugging his pud in the shadow puppet and was laughing at the beginning of this fucking guy. Right. Look at this freak show. Get in here. You got to check this out. This is fucking sad. Look at the shadow. Look at the shadow. Probably forwarded to a couple of friends. And at some point, his son steps out.
He's like, yeah, you remember that? You know that Planet Fitness up the street?
Yeah.
You'll never believe what happened here. You got to see this.
Yeah. So the dad probably saw the first 90 seconds of it in the shadow beat and had no idea what was going on. And then his son stepped out of the stall. Because you couldn't think it was your son. And also, he doesn't really look like a gym rat. He looks like the kind of guy who wants to go hang out in the bathroom, right? Which is the problem.
I mean, the fact that she says that this guy showered there
Right.
and then went to the stall. Ugh.
All right, we need just the last 10 seconds here. Sorry. I want to hear this guy say, bro.
They handle it. It's good. It's fine. Let's go, babe. Have a blessed night, you guys.
Blessed.
Sorry about that.
I think it's a little late for that. Blessed. Blessed.
I wonder how all the other women in that locker room felt. Because, like, at one point, you can hear multiple female voices that were like, what the heck?
That guy was trying to bless the stall.
That's right. A little holy water. Chime. Chime is changing how people bank. Fee-free banking, built for regular folks, just like you and me. Not like those old banks with nickel and diming you all the time with overdraft and monthly fees. Chime's different. Get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Access up to $500 of your paycheck anytime with MyPay. No overdraft fees, no minimum balance, no monthly charges. I switched to Chime in minutes. It's easy to do. Easiest banking upgrade ever. You've never felt more in control of your money. And you can download Chime through the app. Download the Chime app today. That's the Chime app today. Bank smarter with Chime, right, Dawson?
Chime is not just smarter banking, it's the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today. It just takes a few minutes to sign up. Head to chime.com/Adam. That's chime.com/Adam.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services, a secured Chime Visa credit card, and MyPay line of credit provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. MyPay eligibility requirements apply, and credit limit ranges $20 to $500. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. See chime.com/fees info. Advertised annual percentage yield with Chime Plus status only. Otherwise, 1.00% APY applies. No min balance required. Chime card on-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. See chime.com for details and applicable terms.
All right. Well, Michael Rappaport says he's running for mayor of New York City.
Good for him.
Yeah. Obviously, he has had a lot of verbal and public opposition to New York City's new mayor, Zohran Mamdani, and he's decided to run to replace him. The Masked Singer star and podcaster himself welcomed listeners to the latest episode of his podcast on Monday by rattling off that he plans on running. He said that 2025 was crazy, and I don't see it getting any effing calmer or cooler in 2026 the way things started. That's why I'm running for mayor, and we have video of it.
Mm-hmm.
Special announcement, I Am Rappaport Stereo Podcast. I, Michael Rappaport, will be running for mayor of New York City in 2029. You got Zohran the moron now, but have no fear, Mayor Rappaport will be here. You like them apples? How does that roll off your tongue? Mayor Rappaport, born and raised in New York City. born and raised in New York. Born and raised. I came out of my mother's womb, New York hospital.
Bro.
Okay.
Bro, you cannot come out of your mother's womb beating off, bro.
I will do my best to make New York
Bro,
City
I FaceTimed you, bro.
You will be getting nothing
I
for
saw you
free.
beating
I'm not
off
gonna lie to you.
in
I'm
the
not gonna
crib,
bullshit
bro.
you. Okay, I will do my best to make New York City safe, affordable, and thriving. But every single time I make a mistake, I will acknowledge it. I will apologize, and I won't do it with a shit-eating grin. Okay, I'm going to be the best mayor for New York City, for the people of New
All
York
right, I'll
City.
vote for him.
Born
I
and
like
raised in New
Rappaport.
York
I
City.
got it.
I like him too. Honestly, though, his rhyming at the beginning reminded me of our buddy Curtis Lewa. I was like, wow. It's in 2029. So we got a little bit. He's got some time to fundraise and plan and get out there and try to earn some votes.
All right, what else we got?
All right. So we have an image here that President Trump in the White House tweeted earlier today about the CDC slashing childhood vaccine schedules in an quote unquote unprecedented overhaul following the pandemic trust issues.
You know, Trump's gift is getting people who disagree with him to flip-flop
On
and go
everything.
the opposite direction of everything they've ever talked about. They all hated big pharma. They all hated big government.
They all wanted to be more European.
They hated the FBI. They didn't trust the CIA. That's all the left was. And all Trump had to do with lifelong Dodger fans is go, you know what? I think I like the Dodgers now. And they went, we're all going to support the Giants. And you got them to do the opposite of what they've done their whole life. They all love the CDC, and they worship Fauci, and they all want big pharma to inject your kids with 72 injections before their second birthday.
So the average European country, as this graph shows, has 11 injections. I think before 24 months. In the United States, it's 7, or maybe this is before 4 years old, has 72. The assessment was examined with members of the CDC and the Deputy of Health and Human Services, Jim O'Neill, and the acting CDC director about childhood immunization practices in 20 peer-developed nations, most of them in European countries,
Here's the thing about all forms of whatever, because they do this all the time. Are you an expert? Hey, JFK Jr., you're not a doctor. Okay, listen to me. We're all experts in one way or another because we all have common sense. If nobody got all these vaccines a short period of time ago and everyone was thin and healthy and not allergic to peanuts and didn't have autism, and now everyone's allergic to peanuts and is on the spectrum of Asperger's and autism, then maybe some of these injections are causing problems. But maybe, just maybe, the average human being doesn't need 72 injections before their second birthday. You don't have to be an expert to have that thought.
Well, and what's funny is, once again, leftist countries that say that we should be more like other socialist nations around the world with an international consensus that strengthening transparency and informed consent and having fewer vaccinations, it actually increases vaccination rates, which is kind of fascinating. That's what their studies showed. Is that the assessment concluded that the United States does not achieve higher vaccination rates than countries with recommended fewer vaccines.
What does that mean?
So I think that, like, the fewer vaccines you're telling a new mom to get for her baby, she's like, okay, cool. But when you're like, yo, within the first 6 weeks, here's all the shots we're giving your kid, vitamin K and Hep B and,
it's
all
also
these things, it's a little overwhelming, and moms tend to say no.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
So, like, in the United States, even though we have more vaccines available to people, people don't opt for them as much as they do in other countries.
Yeah. Well, look, after COVID, sorry, no more experts. Don't believe anyone with anything. I don't. You guys all lied, and now CDC, I just assume, is a corrupt organization.
There's so many recommended vaccines for children. I mean, and a lot of them make a ton of sense, right? Like measles, mumps, rubella, polio, et cetera, right? And even NPR had to admit this morning, they were very upset about this when I listened to Up First, but they admitted that all CDC recommended vaccines will remain fully covered by insurance without cost sharing.
Yeah, I mean, look, the natural immunity part, which they didn't want you to get into during COVID, There's a big problem. The problem is our body needs to be stress tested a little. We need some pushback. Our immune system needs to fire up and fight, you know. And I've had it happen always in my life because I'm the never go to the hospital guy. You know, people go, I'm sick. I'm going to I'm going to urgent care or whatever. And I go, ride it out, you know. And they go, no, I got to get some antibiotics or some whatever. And I go, just ride it out. Your body knows what to do. Your body will fight it off. It's going to take a few days. Yeah, but I want to go to urgent care. And it's like, all right, what you're doing is you're robbing your body of the ability to activate and fight it off.
Well, especially because now we know, I mean, thank God for antibiotics. Sometimes they're necessary, but I think because when people are using antibiotics too soon and too frequently, it's affecting their gut health negatively.
Oh,
like you've talked to Dr. Amen about this before.
They're fucking your entire system up with all the stuff you're putting into your body.
And how important gut health is to like literally the rest of your body.
I have these conversations with people who have lots of gut problems and who take lots of stuff, and I go, I don't take anything, and I don't have gut problems, and I'm never going to. And they go, well, here's something I got to take for my gut because of the gut problem, like Bagats. Every third commercial I see on TV, someone's gut's being strangled by Ivy. And it's like, what is going on with all the gut commercials?
It's always Ivy. What did Ivy do?
Ivy strangled the life out of your lower intestines. And I'm like, look, something is going on that everyone has a bad gut. And I have a gut feeling we're doing something wrong.
Maybe we're eating the wrong foods. We're over-medicating their problems.
I will explain it as easily as the Amish. The Amish kids don't have any of this stuff. They're out in the dirt. They have animals. They're out in nature. They're
you know what they do get, though, unfortunately, at a higher rate? Botulism, because it comes from dirt, and they don't always wash things.
They have higher levels of botulism?
Yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting point.
Thank God it's only deadly if it's like under 2. So it's very, very rare.
Your body, you cannot. I was literally.
Your body can fight off botulism, folks.
Your body can fight off everything. I've done it. I've had it happen in my life a million times where I've been sick as a dog and I just lay there in bed. I just sweat it out. I didn't even take NyQuil.
No Tylenol for you.
No, nothing. But I was watching a commercial yesterday. It came on. It was a dad slathering skin lotion on their infant. And it was like, my first lotion. It's like, don't get caught up on all this shit, you idiot.
I don't bathe my children for a while when they're born. Is that weird?
No.
I'm also a home birth hippie, so.
Procter & Gamble and Madison Avenue, whatever, they are trying to sell women all of this shit.
Yeah.
And you think you're being a good mom by doing all the rubbing and scrubbing and then putting...
Their skin is perfect. They don't need it.
They're perfect. They're perfect. No, I know. There's no thing on the planet that needs moisturizer less than a 9-month-old.
I know.
And they just slather them with it, and you're just getting everyone hooked on everything. By the way, your body, your skin is absorbing tons of shit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, everyone, just knock it off. Just
extra virgin olive oil or coconut oil. That's what I did for my babies.
You don't have your body. If you rub and scrub something, your body then overcompensates to replace what you just scrubbed off. So don't scrub it off. That's what I'm saying.
How do you feel about shaving, though? Because there are some hippies that say, like, oh, you shouldn't even shave or wear deodorant or anything like that. That's a little extreme for me.
I get the Tom's natural toothpaste and like the Tom's deodorant or whatever, and I shave usually every couple of days with I don't use shave cream. I just kind of do it wet, steam it up. But the point is use few amount of products as you possibly can on you and in you. Use the fewest amount in you.
In the ingredients that you're even cooking with, right? Like you can make a really tasty meal just using real butter, garlic, and salt.
Yes, and also stop with all the rules. Just shut up and eat. I don't want to hear about, I like tomatoes cooked, but I don't like raw. Shut the fuck up and eat. Just
messes
eat.
With my tummy.
It's not all about you. Just eat it.
Now I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too.
We're talking about all this food. Somebody order us a pizza.
I was saying last night, I'm blessed. I like vegetables. I like everything. And the ones I don't like, I just fucking eat it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of rules about what I eat. Just, first off, eating, it isn't all a pleasurable endeavor all the time. There's a part of eating where you're just literally putting fuel into your body.
To do a thing.
To perform, to live. You know, it doesn't all, it's not always a trip to Planet Fitness and you're sitting in a stall whacking your meat. Sometimes you just got to put a little fuel in the tank. So this, like, I don't like this, and I'll just fucking shut up and eat it.
Just eat it. Yeah.
And the whole thing, like when you're making a protein shake or whatever, if it tastes good, you're doing it wrong. It needs to taste bad. It needs to taste shitty. Then people announce, well, I don't like the way this. I know you don't like the way it tastes. It's good for you. Now just suck it up.
I do think that there is an element of like the greater the risk or the challenge, the greater the reward, right? And there's this workout guy that my husband and I use sometimes on YouTube. And he's like, if it was easy, then everybody would be doing it. And it's so true. If it was easy to not eat the tasty carb cheese loaded thing, then nobody would be tempted to eat the cheese loaded, and they'd just be able to easily say no.
My drink when I was in high school and I was playing football is I would take the blender and I would dump about half full with V8. Then I'd put a big scoop of brewer's yeast in it, which is the worst tasting stuff you've ever tasted in your life. It makes you gag.
Why did you put brewer's yeast in it?
It was supposed to be good for you back then. Brewer's yeast. And then I'd put 3 raw eggs in it. I'd whip it up.
Rocky style?
And I would literally just stand over the sink and I would just chug it
and
out of the blender and like hold my nose and like, and I'd slam it down. I go, good, I'm done. It's the worst tasting thing you could ever put in your mouth. Done. And then there are the people like, I use honey and bananas and blueberry. Okay, that's a bunch of sugar. It's not good for you.
If it doesn't suck, it's not a protein drink that
and
is approved by Adam.
Yes. All right. I've talked long enough. ELISHA KRAUSS, everybody. Me, Colorado, man. This Friday and Saturday night, Colorado Springs Loonies. Got a couple shows out there. Come out to the Comedy Corner. And then we added a show in Greenwood Village. We added a second show. First show sold out. That's in Greenwood Village, Colorado. The Comedy Works, but we added a second, so you can come out, check that out. If you like ELISHA KRAUSS, everyone, op-ed, Washington Examiner, and see Thomas Howell, 1 Mile, and the sequel, 1 Mile More, in theaters coming out in February. Until next time, it's time for C. Thomas Howell and ELISHA KRAUSS saying mahalo.